So now in this modern world, we have every time we are hearing the word AI, artificial intelligence, chat GPT, Copilot, all these things. Even for me, recently for my daughter's birthday, I was planning to prepare an invitation. But in earlier times, it could have taken hours and hours of work. But just I given a prompt to the AI, then I got a customized and a very unique invitation card within seconds. So that is the world of AI. So our topic is generative AI. So how can we introduce generative AI? What is generative AI? What is the difference between normal AI and Gen AI?
Yeah, thanks, Lakshmi. I'm very happy that this is taking place not in a city location, but in in a place like Attingal, because there are not. I mean, you won't get that many things. I mean, as we have in the city, right? So we need to democratize the AI, and this is the best way to make it happen. And there is another reason that I am happy to be in Attingal, because this is the town, this is the place in which I had my school education. So that's another reason. Yeah. So with that, let's get into the topic. Uh, of generative AI, right? And of course I'm sure other speakers and in the other sessions you would have heard a lot about AI, and even the introduction mentioned about AI being equal to electricity, and you might wonder why, right? So AI in general and generative AI in particular, or in other words, uh, powered by generative AI, you can see that AI as a whole is truly a transformative technology, right? So transformative technology means a technology that completely transforms the way we work, the way we live, the way we commute, the way we get a treatment for a disease, the way we do pretty much anything, right? So that's the transformative technology. And electricity is a good example of a transformative technology that at least we or our generation, or at least our parents' generation, might have seen, right? See, you can realize the power of a technology only when you compare it to a time when it is not there, right? So I'm sure none of our students here would can imagine a life without electricity, right? You might you might have a few hours without electricity, of course, but not a life without electricity, not a life without all the equipments that are powered by electricity, right? So I think people who have seen through that transition of maybe have lived through an age when there was no electricity and then came to it, they would realize the power of that transformation, and it completely changes everything, right? So it is a similar case with AI, and it is to a large extent powered by Gen AI. And with that introduction, let us get into what Gen AI is, right? So generative AI means you are generating something, right? So it can be a text in the form of an essay, or an answer to a question, or even a poem or a short story, or any of the different forms a text can take, an email, a letter, like that. Anything that a text can take, right? So you can generate a text, but it's not only text. You can generate voice, you can generate images, you can generate a video complete with audio and all. So all these things, you can generate these things with generative AI. And it, of course, this is a technology that has been in the making for many, many years. The first such thing appeared in 1960s with and then with some natural language processing called ELISA that appeared. But then it was not the kind that we see today. The world starts to notice generative AI when ChatGPT released their new version, or a conversationally, or a chat bot in which you can with just a single prompt, you can create this kind of text, a story or whatever, right? That is when people started noticing. That was happened in late 2022, just 2 3 years before. Or in other words, 3 years before, if we are having this conference, there wouldn't have been any topic like GenAI, like that is the, because that's when the world started noticed. And of course, that was only a start. We had OpenAI, the company which released ChatGPT, also came up with DAL-E, with which you can, from a text, you can generate images. You just need to give the description and you get the image like that. And then there are Stable Diffusion, another software that gets you images, and so on. So, and then we had video creations by Sora, like that. So there are a lot of generative AI things that have come up, or techniques that have come up. So just to give you a sense of what this is, it all relies on, unlike the traditional AI, right? It is traditional AI where you have typically you have a neural network or that kind of you can assume that there is an algorithm which takes an input and generates an output. And how you are configuring that algorithm is by training that algorithm with a lot of data. Like for example, if you want in an image, if you want to say whether there is a cat in the image, you train that algorithm or the neural network with hundreds or thousands of images with a cat and say, okay, this is an image with a cat, or this is an image without a cat. And then over a period of time, or a period of hundreds of such iterations, the network will learn that, yeah, there is a cat in this image, or there is no cat in this image, like that. So that is the traditional AI for you, right? But what makes GenAI different is that it actually relies on what is called a foundational model, which is actually a very, very deep neural network trained on millions of data points. It is almost like a chat GPT, for example, has been trained on all possible kind of literature that has ever been produced, like that. So that kind of volume of data is used to train these foundational models. So once we have these foundational models, you don't need any further data to actually train it. You can just give you a prompt and you have your answer. So that is the difference that GenAI makes. So you don't need further things, but you always can contextualize it with what you need from your things. And the contextualizing it, and or for example, giving more information so that you get the right output is called giving the prompts, right? That in ChatGPT, to get your output, you need to give a text, right? That's called prompt. And to engineer those prompt, or kind of give, in addition to the text, you can also give more information, and that is called prompt engineering. And so these are all what makes GenAI different. I'm sorry if I take talk
Oh,
many
no,
time.
sir. No,
Yeah.
sir.